Create with Fran Sydney. Hello everyone and welcome to Create with Franz, your show to learn all the little hacks about mindfulness and about success and how to thrive and not just survive. And this is episode 56, so we are heading towards a very big number. I'm very excited about that. And today we're going to talk about what happens when we live with a constant question in our mind. And the question is, what if? Stay tuned. Let's dive straight in, and I want to explain first of all what it means when I say living in a world of what if. Because of course we live with a constant company of our own thoughts. And these thoughts can create good stuff and bad stuff. And so many people end up being very worried, very anxious, because guess what? In their mind there is always the same question, day after day, and even in the night, keeping them awake. The question is, what if? Because these people are living in anticipatory anxiety. So it's this excessive worry about the potential future events that are going to hurt, that are going to go bad. And so the avoidance of this event. And people who have anticipatory anxiety sometimes even experience panic attacks or nightmares. So because the constant question is what if, I just wanted to go down and see, can we talk about this? Let's see what it is and what questions are going around your mind all the time. Just to give you a quick idea, for example, you might always thinking, what if my partner is cheating on me, or I'm not good enough for him or her anymore? What if I never find someone else ever again? I'm divorced, or I'm 30, I never got married. What if I never found anyone else? I have to hang on with this bad partnership because I don't think I'll ever find someone else. What if I lose my job? Or if I get demoted? What if my partner dies and I'm all alone? What if I go out and I get sick and I die? And, it's one thing to ask this question once in a day, but if you keep thinking about it all the time and it's changing the way you experience your presence, then it's time to talk about it. So let's do that. Now, if we want to define anxiety, what is anxiety? It's an excessive worry about the future. It's a fear, a palpable fear that something that has not happened yet might possibly happen. And so you are anticipating this. Your brain is trying to make a big plan ahead to prepare for this, but it's not very helpful because by staying focused on the worst case scenario all the time, you are failing to thrive in the very moment that you're living. You're absent, you're not all there, you're not enjoying it, and of course you feel down. And it's a very limiting mindset because it stops people living well and sleeping well. And guess why this happens? It's because you are in effect saying to yourself, I can predict the future. And actually, nobody can. However, if you know you can predict the future, please let me know. I want to have you here in my show so you can explain how you do that because, I might want some answers regarding my own future. Please come and be a guest. Thank you. Let's go a little bit further in seeing what kind of symptoms you might have if you are suffering from this what if syndrome. You might have difficulty concentrating on normal tasks at work or in your daily tasks, or maybe you might have difficulty sleeping. You might have a little bit of problem with emotions and moods, you can't really balance them, or you might feel very numb, you're not feeling much because you're constantly worried. This is all I'm feeling, nothing else, and then you're just numb. Or you might have noticed that your hobbies are no longer interesting to you. You're like, no, because all you're thinking about, what if I get ill? What if I die? What if I divorce? What if I lose my job? It just continues and you see the videos all the time. Or you might be very jumpy, on high alert all the time, you're restless, you can't really relax because your heart is beating fast, you notice you have muscle tension, you might even have some kind of pain or some nausea, or maybe you're not even wanting to eat anymore. It is typical to have sleeping problems. You can't fall asleep because you keep regurgitating the same thoughts over and over and ruminating over and over the same stuff. And of course, this can also go even further. You might have social anxiety because you're worried, or if I go out and I meet people, this and that's going to happen. I'm going to become ill. I might get COVID. Nowadays we have all sorts of anxiety, all sorts of things. I might fail the exam. I might be not accepted by my friends. Whatever this is, if it's coming up all the time, and you nourish this by continuing thinking the same way, guess what's going to happen? You might have real phobias. Phobias of being with people in a small room, phobias to be in a crowded place, phobia to do a trip in an airplane, or to be in a train where you cannot come out, in a tunnel. Or you might even go even further, have panic disorders, panic attacks, full blown. And they all start with what? With your thinking. What's going on there? So let's check it out a little bit more. So the interesting things about this anticipatory anxiety is that it can cause a lot of distress. And distress is not very good for your body. And not only that, but it will keep you stuck in your looping thoughts that are not very good for you. They are negative, they are anxious, they're not about being happy, but they're really about being unhappy. And as you know, there is a really tight connection between what we are thinking, how we are feeling, and how we are able to heal when we become ill. So it's so important to really check out the way we are thinking. An average person will have some kind of long-term or short-term goals. Maybe they have a dream, they want to go to university, they want to have children, get a job, they want to climb a mountain, they want to go for a trip, they want to retire in the countryside. They have a reason to be alive. They want to serve a mission in Africa. They want to do something and they're working to achieve that. They don't live just day to day. They want to achieve this. And this is so critical for human beings. We have motivation, we have drive, we have a future-based focus, which I think makes us so different from animals who are just thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to survive, I have to eat, and I have to sleep. There is a lot more because we're not animals. And when we take away the goals and the dreams from people, you see they don't have purpose, they don't have drive in their life. Of course, depression and other big disorders, so medication, PTSD, they can take away a lot of this. So we're not going to talk about every single case, but just normally speaking, when you realize that you cannot stop worrying about the future and it's dominating your thoughts and it's overriding your present, it is really destroying your life, then you will see that all your friends cannot really help you because all you talk about is negative stuff. You might be quite heavy, and even if you are in a difficult situation, if you just talk about what's going on badly, how are you going to help yourself? Because that's all you're going to see. So, it's important to think about, hey, maybe it's time to snap out of this situation. Although none of us has control or much control on what happens around us, we cannot change the weather today, we cannot change if somebody's going to knock on our door, we cannot change if we get a call tomorrow. It is very difficult to change what is going to happen, but we can change what we perceive about something, and we can change our reaction to things. So we can have two identical persons with the same problem. One is happy, one is unhappy. So that tells a lot about how the human mind thinks, doesn't it? It's difficult. So if you are seeking for change, I'm going to give you a few tips, not a lot, but just a few, just to make a little bit of difference in your days. And I'm going to tell you the first thing, and that a lot of people find it quite helpful to stop the continuous worrying by relegating to a corner of a day. And so what they do is a really clever trick. They schedule half an hour a day where they are supposed to worry, they are allowed to worry and to vent. That's right. 30 minutes a day. So every time a very worrisome thought creeps into their mind, they say, no, I'm not thinking about that now. Now I have something else to think about. I have a scheduled time for that. I'm going to think about it at 5 o'clock. That's my time to worry. And by doing that, they only worry about that time, and then they just push it away, and they realize maybe by the time that the scheduled time arrives, they actually have forgotten about that. And that is a really impressive thing, like, I'm going to be arrested tomorrow, I'm going to have a really huge exam. So, yeah, they will make you very worried anyway. But Do you know what I mean, right? It's just 30 minutes a day where you say, in those 30 minutes, I'm just gonna worry. Now, I don't want you just to worry about it for 30 minutes, okay? I want you to write down all these ideas that are distressful, that are worrisome, that are concerning. And then after making a long list of all this stuff that you think is going to happen, start writing on the other side something positive, something good that can possibly happen. And even challenge those things. And maybe, is that possible? Is it true? Is this actually going to happen? Is this statistically possible? And when you see them in writing, sometimes the brain will see things in a different way. I don't think I need to add this, but just in case, there are a lot of things that you can do to manage anxiety symptoms and to make anticipatory anxiety a thing of the past. One is sleep, so be very regular with sleep. One is nutrition, so there are some foods that are calming and some that are more energizing and some that might keep you very much awake. For example, alcohol and coffee, especially if combined, can have quite an effect on the way you can relax or not. So I'm not going to talk much about it, just to let you know. Do your research, okay? I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not going to tell you what to eat or what to drink, but think about that. Exercise is so important because it gives you so much oxytocin and dopamine, and it relaxes you in a way because it helps you to breathe deeply. And breathing deeply is one of the big things. We're going to talk about it in just a minute. So think about all these particular thinking patterns that you have. For example, if you keep thinking, well, I have a flight tomorrow, but the plane may crash, well, have you ever thought about it that you can write that down? You can write down and then write on the side, okay, I am fearful that my plane may crash and I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna leave all my kids without a mother or a father. Okay, and then write down, statistically, air travel is actually safer than driving the car. And I drive a car all the time, I don't have to worry about that. And the staff that is there, the airlines, the officers, the pilots, they're very professional. They do all their training a lot better than car drivers and taxi drivers. So I'm just going to be able to relax and to enjoy my trip. And it's different because you're giving yourself something different to break the circuit or continuing to think the same bad thing. And repeat yourself, this is actually quite safe. There is no reason to worry. And then every time the bad thought comes in, you just push it aside really slowly, say, no, I'm actually quite sure that this is going to be just fine. Sometimes you will notice that anxiety is really taking over your body. You can feel your heart is racing. Maybe your breathing is very shallow, it's faster and faster. You might even get to feel that your palms are actually sweating. And this creates a negative feedback loop in your own body. So the body see that this is going on, and this will increase your anxiety. Oh my gosh, I'm having anxiety, I'm having a panic attack. So you can interrupt the feedback loop. How do you do that? By controlling your breathing. And this is not woo-woo, this is true thing. If you control your breathing, if you learn and if you use breathing techniques, this is one of the most critical things you can do. You will then tell your system that everything is actually fine. And this is also used for victims of PTSD, post-traumatic disorder syndrome. Why? Because once you start breathing deeply and slowly, all your body can start to relax and say, okay, things are okay. But if you start breathing really fast and shallow, you're giving a sense, well, something is wrong. And so everything will be in hand. So do go on YouTube or to your doctor or to a therapist. Learn how to do breathing. This is so useful to do. And there are so many good exercises, so many relaxation techniques that you can learn. You can choose the one that helps you the most, or maybe some music, some dance, whatever you can. You can just start right away with slow, deep breaths. What you do is you breathe in, you hold, and you breathe out, and you hold. And you can do that while you're walking, and the slower and the deeper, it will be better. If you can't remember, I usually do breathe 7, hold for 7, and go down 7. Just an idea. Or breathe 6, hold down for 5. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing slowly, This is an amazing way of relaxing, especially when you're going to sleep and you're worried that you will be worried. And if you think, oh, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep, then dim all the lights. Go slower and slower as you prepare for sleep. Do things slower and slower. Walk. Do not go running around. Do everything slowly. But when you go to bed, go down, relax, and start counting as you breathe. And every time a bad idea, a bad image, or a thought comes to your mind, you start counting. And when you're counting, you can't think of anything else because your brain cannot think of two things at the same time and focus on both. It's just impossible. It can only go hold the attention on one and hold the attention on the other. So if you keep counting and breathing very slowly, you're automatically decreasing your anxiety and your worries and thoughts, and eventually you're going to fall asleep a lot faster than usual. In fact, it was about 2 weeks ago I shared this with a friend, and because she said she was having problems sleeping, and she tried it and she slept a lot faster, and she was like, oh, thank you, Franz, that worked. So there we go. If you have tried that and it's still not very good because you keep thinking of something, then go to YouTube. I have a channel there where the feed for this podcast is there. So there is no video for most of it. It's just the podcast. It just comes automatically from Libsyn. And if you go in there, there are two videos, let's call them videos, where there is a recording that I made. And if you just play that, it's got some music. And there is an induction with hypnosis, and will relax you and help you to go to sleep. Doesn't matter if you're listening to the words or not, just listen to the beginning when I count you from 10 to 1, and slowly you will see if you're focusing a little bit on what I'm saying, you will realize you're actually falling asleep and forgetting about your worrisome thoughts. So help yourself. Remember, it's on YouTube. Just click all the links from my profile, you will find it. And let's give you another couple of tips before I go. And one is called progressive muscle relaxation, which is a really good technique. You can learn it so that you can get out of your head and get into your body, but in a healthy way. How do you do it? Very simply, when you feel like you're tense and you're thinking too much, worried about something, then you close your fists, both of your hands, and you tense them, and you really make them really tight until you're almost hurting yourself with the fingers in your palms, and really tense every single muscle from the head to the toe. Relax only later. First of all, you want to tense until they're really tight. Feel them really tight until they're almost painful, and then relax one by one all the muscles. And then do it again, and then relax. And as you relax, breathe deeply. If you learn that is so good for fibromyalgia as well, because you have to learn how to relax your muscles, don't you? And so it does help to get some control in there and say, hey, actually, I can actually make it tighter. So if I can make it tighter, can I make it differently? And it doesn't work with everyone, but you're going to have to try and tell me how is it going, because, the muscles are many, and sometimes we don't realize how tight they are until we're trying to make them tighter and then relax them. So remember to stay grounded in the moment. Stay grounded in your body. Now, if that doesn't work for you, find what does get to you and to your body. For example, you might want to put an energetic song or a relaxing song, maybe a waltz from Strauss, I don't know. Dance around your living room. Do something that is different from usual so that you are breaking that pattern. You can go for a little walk. You can go up and down the stairs, go for a jog. If you can, go for a swim. It's summer, it's good weather, you can do that. Or if you have somebody that is willing to help, you could have a little massage, and you can, trade massage with your friend there and help just to relax, especially the muscles that are around your neck, your shoulders, and your temples. If you take your mind off of a problem and you focus on something else that is very physical, chances are that your anticipatory anxiety will decrease in a big way, and it's a great help. Okay, we are racing towards the end, so that's my last tip for today. And this is to take an action towards change. You're here, you're listening to this episode because you think I'm brilliant? No, because you think you want a result, you want to change. So try to figure out what are the types of things that are causing you anxiety. Then make a plan. Divide the plan into chunks. What can you use? What can you do? Who are the people that can help you? Who can support you? Is there any medication that you need to take? Is there any food that is making you more anxious? Is there any type of exercise you can do? What is helping you and what is not helping you? Make a plan of what you're going to use when, so you know what to do in case anxiety becomes too much for you. If it becomes like a way of living, then you really want to see a therapist, because it's not a very good way of living. So not only make a plan, but make a plan of the plans. What to do when all the plans fail. Maybe you can say, okay, everything failed. What can I learn from this? Where can I go now? So just remember, for everything that happens, for every door that closes, there is a door that opens. One of the biggest fears nowadays is, what if I lose my job? But that could be the perfect time for you to become an entrepreneur, to becoming your own boss, to change, to go to a better company. And maybe your partner has left you. Well, maybe that's the chance for you to really meet the love of your life, because your partner obviously was not good for you if they left you. So always look at that. Sometimes we are very bad with health. You have one problem after the other one, and we're anxious about that. And there is a whole episode about health anxiety. But I know that there are people who had tons and tons of health problems, including my own grandmother, who had every possible disease, operation. She had lost a kidney. She had, I don't know how many, 2 to 3 heart attacks. And she had hepatitis, and she had gallbladder taken off. She broke all the limbs at some point in her life, and then she had breast cancer. And what else did she have? She had every disease I could think of, and yet she was always in good mood, always helping people, always trying to do things and trying to move forward. And she didn't have time to cry on herself. She was very busy with the children and then with the grandchildren. And she just kept moving forward and said, no, when I'm better with this disease, I'm going to do this and that. She was planning the little holiday in the Lake of Garda back in Italy. She was always making plans for the future. She never sat there thinking, oh, I'm a victim, this is happening. And I think I might have inherited her attitude there, because I always think, well, we're going to do well. And so I think, I learned a lot from her. Like, we have to look forward to the future, okay? We can't just cry about what happened in the past and we're going to destroy our future. We have to look forward with faith. If things are going to be better, we can make them better. Make little plans, plan ahead for 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 5 months from now. Try even 5 days if you're that desperate. But try something that you have like the light in the end of the tunnel, and then look at that and hold it, and then work towards that. And then all this anxiety will have to disappear, because you have drive, you have motivation, you have something good to look forward to. And if all this is not helping you and you still think, oh no, I'm so anxious, so worried, call me. Let's have a discovery call. Go to calendly.com, France, Sydney, and let's have a chat. Maybe you need a hypnotic session to help you to find out what is driving all this, so we can reframe your thinking and help you to think in a more positive and helpful way. Because I cannot change your situation, but I can help you to see how you can change your thoughts and how you can see things under a different light. And this is a great thing. It will change your life. So feel free to call me for a consultation, which is absolutely free, and eventually for a lovely session to get better. Alright guys, so thank you very much for being with me today. It's been a wonderful time, 25 minutes together talking about anxiety and anticipating anxiety, which is very bad name for it, but there we go. So thank you for being with me and being very patient, and tell me if I've been speaking a little bit too fast and what else you would like me to talk about, because this is a show that I'm designing for you to help you to get results, to feel better. So I hope to see you next week, and I should be recording with Gina, which is an anxiety lawyer, next week if everything goes well. So I'll talk to you soon, and thank you again, and take care. See you next time. Bye bye. You've listened to Create with France, Sydney.